Hi, everyone. Welcome to day 16 of our recovery journey. We are over halfway. Congratulations that you made it. That's such an accomplishment in your own recovery journey. And thank you so much for joining me on mine. Um, this next half, we're just going to continue what we've been doing, adding and learning new poses and challenging our body to move. As we keep going, just remember how far we've come, that you have done half of the work of this journey, and you can trust your body as we introduce new poses. And you can trust that you will one day get back to your range of motion, whatever that is, after whatever you're recovering from. So we will begin, as we always do, in a comfortable seat. So come on down to the ground, sit up nice and tall. And today I invite you to bring your hands to your knees, palms facing up. Just open and sitting in a posture ready to receive whatever this second half of our journey has for us. We'll begin breathing. Maybe you notice that your breath starts naturally going into that Ujjayi breath. Notice what you're bringing to the mat today. Maybe you're bringing a to-do list. Maybe you're bringing some shame-filled comments about where you should be or what you should be doing. Maybe you're bringing nothing but your tired body. Notice that. Create space for that. That's welcome here. Because recovery is all about what we bring. It's not good or bad. It's just how we show up. And then I invite you to join with me in setting the intention for day 16 to be openness. Openness to receive what this practice has for us. Openness to receive your body as it is today, not as you'd like it to be. And openness to see where the rest of this journey takes us. Awesome. We will slowly and mindfully begin to move to all fours, beginning with our cat-cows. As always, you can move that pillow or blankie to the side. We'll stack the shoulders over the wrists, knees under the hips, and then we'll drop the belly on our inhale, round through the spine on our exhale. And today I invite you to be open to anywhere that's kind of clenching or tensing in our cat-cows. Just approach that with a little bit of curiosity. Maybe ask yourself what your body is telling you. What does your body need? So often when we're recovering, we don't approach our body with questions, but rather accusations of why aren't you here, or why aren't you doing this, or I used to be able to do that. So I invite you to kind of flip the script and just ask, what is that? What could that mean for me today? One more breath cycle here. Awesome work. We'll come to that neutral spine, bringing our toes to touch, knees as wide as the yoga mat, and then we'll lift our hips up and over and back to come rest on the backs of our feet, on our heels for child's pose. We'll feel that deep stretch in the back and the side body. And then on your next inhale, you can walk your hands to the left side of your mat, grabbing your left wrist with your right hand. And then we'll stretch a little bit, noticing that deeper stretch in the right side body. And then we'll take it to the other side. Left hand coming to wrap around the right wrist, lengthening through that left side body, creating space. Awesome work. All right, we'll press up, coming into neutral spine tabletop position. And then on your next inhale, we'll lift the left leg up high, keeping that knee bent. And then on your exhale, curl almost like you're doing your cat pose to make space for your knee coming all the way forward in between your front hands. And then we'll inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead for low lunge. If you notice you're kind of like on your way up, tilting or falling to one side, first, that's completely normal. But to kind of aid in that balance and see if we can wiggle a little bit less, imagine on your inhale kind of bringing your two thighs in towards that center. So it's combining that exhale that we've been working on with our Ujjayi breath, but we're now involving the legs in it. So we imagine everything pulling into that center line so that our core can stabilize us on our way up. We'll breathe here, pressing the top of our back foot and the bottom of our front foot into the earth, connecting with that earth stability. Awesome. So we'll bring our hands down, frame the front foot, and we'll introduce our new pose. It's called Ardha Hanumanasana, or half split pose. So you'll begin to straighten that front leg, bring those toes pointed up to the sky. Your hands will kind of naturally walk back towards the back edge of your mat. And you'll have a straight leg, feeling a nice hamstring stretch. You're welcome to have a bend in your knee if that is what's available in your body today. Totally okay. And then on the inhale, we'll kind of lengthen or imagine our the crown of our head getting taller. And then on the exhale, we'll kind of bow closer to the knee, kind of like head to knee pose. But this is half split. And then you want to check in, make sure you're not kind of like leaning all your weight into the kneeled leg, but rather you're remaining centered and pulling that straight leg back into its hip socket. One more breath here. Awesome. And then we'll roll through that front foot, coming back into Anjali Asana or low lunge. Before we plant the palms, step that back leg back, and then we'll lower like we did yesterday, all the way to the floor. So as a reminder, we're lowering all to the floor because we're building toward what in Vinyasa yoga we call your flow. So eventually this will be a belly to cobra, or if your practice allows for it, a chaturanga to up dog. But for right now, we're just going to lower all the way down to our belly. And then we're going to place our elbows right where our palms were, so right underneath our shoulders. And then we'll press up to Salamba Bhujangasana or Sphinx pose. As a reminder, there is no need to use all the Sanskrit terms. It's not a requirement to practice yoga. I just think they're fun and beautiful, and I think yoga's culture has so much insight for us. So I like honoring it where I can and where I remember its original Sanskrit. Awesome. We'll press away from the earth. One more breath here. And then we'll lower all the way back down to our belly, bringing our palms to where our elbows just were. And then we'll press up to all fours, coming into that neutral tabletop position. If you need a break right here, feel free to take a couple breath child's pose. But if not, on your next inhale, we'll keep that left leg bent, lifting it up towards the sky. And then exhale, rounding through, curling the spine like cat pose as we bring that front foot to be framed by the hands. And then inhale, we'll imagine everything coming into the center as we exhale, sweeping the arms up and over for low lunge. Remember here, you can check in with the front leg, making sure the knee is stacked right over the ankle in a right angle. I almost said right degree. 90 degrees or right angle. Gathering that energy on each exhale into the center line. Awesome. On your next exhale, we'll bring our palms to the ground. And then just like we did on the right side, we'll begin to walk those hands back, straightening through that front leg, toes pointing up to the sky. And then we'll imagine pulling that straightened leg back into its hip socket, making sure we're not leaning too far into that right bent knee or our half split or Ardha Hanumanasana. Bowing a little bit closer to your knee on each exhale. Even if it's just in your head, you're not actually getting closer, but you imagine yourself getting closer. That is what we're going for. Connecting with our breath again. Awesome work. We'll roll through that front ankle, frame the front foot, stepping it back to all fours before we shift our weight forward and lower all the way down to the belly. And you know what to do. Place those elbows right where your palms were, and then press up to Sphinx pose. Pressing our palms and the tops of our feet, our pubic bone into the earth. Lengthening through that belly, lengthening through the top of our head. strengthening our shoulders. Awesome work. All right, we're gonna come to lay on our belly, and then we will roll onto our backs um, and press up to our seated. We'll come into staff pose. So bring those feet out long, toes pointed up to the sky. Hands can come to rest on tops of our thighs or at our side, straightening our back. Breathing deep here. And maybe you notice in staff pose that it's just ever so slightly easier to do than the first day we did it. As I mentioned that day, this often looks like a very easy pose, but it's actually one of the most challenging, especially in our day and age, in our culture, where we're often hunched over computers or slouching, looking at our phones. It's hard to almost draw that energy up through our core, straighten through our back, straighten our legs out in front of us. So if you notice that this is ever so slightly more easeful for you, awesome. That is recovery. That is progress, even if it's slight. Awesome. And then for our final pose, we'll inhale, reach up and over, and then we'll bend at the hips, reaching for the front edge of our mat or our seat, or a forward fold on the ground, or a head to knee pose. Breathing deep here. Awesome work. All right, we'll press up all the way, coming into our seated pose where we began our practice today. We'll sit up nice and tall. We'll take one more breath in together, and then we'll sigh it out loud through the mouth. Inhale in, exhale, sigh it out through the mouth. Awesome work, guys. That was challenging. We're adding a bunch more movement in than we have in the last couple weeks, or at least it feels like it is for me. So congratulate yourself. You did it. You showed up for yourself, and you are on your way to recovery. Thank you for joining me as I recover as well, and I'm excited to see you tomorrow. Namaste.